Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden to corporations, we only owe allegiance to you. Remember, you can also send me a tweet at EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is Politics Done Right. Well, folks, welcome to another edition of Politics Done Right. I'm Egberto Willies, your host. Thank you so kindly for being here, my brothers and my sisters. It's a great day. Look, we've been telling you for a long time that eventually, we'll see the light at the other end of the tunnel. We got to get through the tunnel, but we are seeing the light at the other end of the tunnel. I want you guys to sleep it. For those of you who protest with me, who do all these things that we do as activists, you know what I tell you all of the times? I don't want to hear about hope. I don't want to hear about what we hope we are going to do. I want simply to hear about what we are going to do, how we are going to take our country back. Because this is our country. It doesn't belong to thieves and thugs. It doesn't belong to those who forget there's an emoluments clause. It doesn't belong to any of those folks. It belongs to us. I hear, I went this week. I'll tell you more about it in a minute. But this weekend was the Democratic Party's what we call the JJR dinner. Johnson. Let's see. What does it stand for? John Rayburn. It stands for Johnson. Let's see. There's Lee. What's her name again? Our congressperson here, Lee Jackson. Johnson Jackson Rayburn. That's what it stands for. Okay. I went there. There's that gala that you have. I went as a press. The chairman of the Democratic Party invited me to come out there and check things out, etc. So I went out there, and as I'm walking around and talking to people, etc. Some people said, "We hope things are going to change." I give them the same message. Rephrase that, please. We don't hope. We make change. Then another person came and said, "Do you think we have an election? If we have an election in 2026? I looked at them and I said, "We don't talk like that. There will be an election in 2026, and we will win the election in 2026. We don't give people the option we don't let others dictate whether there will be an election or not. We don't leave it up to Trump to say that a state right, which is a state's running an election, that somehow they will have the power to deny the presence of an election. We have to change our mental state. Our mental state should never that of wondering if they will allow us to have an election. We will have an election in 2026. We aren't based on hope. When Obama came out with hope and change, I went with the hope and change, but I didn't want the hope in there. I wanted the change there. Change, 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 not hope. Not hope. So all of you out there that are listening, that are sitting down there wondering if there's going to be an election, yes, there's going to be an election. Wondering how do you prevent them from trying to stop an election? You go do your job. There are people that are manning the booths, all these things. An election doesn't occur on one day. There are preparations for an election that occurs year after year after year after year. If those things are not happening when they should, we need to call it out and make sure that they do. And we don't wait, we don't beg, we don't ask, we don't request. We do. Period. We do. We do. When they come and they try to take the election, like Abbott is going to try to take over in Harris County, when that occurs, we will make sure to have to go out in mass and say, you will not take our elections away from us. And we mobilize. If the state tries to take over blue counties, the masses of people in blue county get off your behinds. And you walk out there in mass, en masse, en masse. This is a democracy, people. And I tell you what, if you think those thugs, the private secret police that the president has, you want to see them in fear? Let the masses come out. And you see, because remember, they stay somewhere. They stay at a hotel if they're not from the city, or they go home. And if they're not just 1,000 people, if there are 100,000 people, you think those thugs can mess with 100,000 people? Do you think Trump's thugs can really mess with people if they come out? Look at what Minnesota has done. I am so proud of Minnesota. When at our dinner, the JJR dinner, it was amazing. I was supposed to go out there to interview um, Amy Klobuchar, Senator Amy Klobuchar. Well, Amy Klobuchar, as you know, is now running for governor of Minnesota, and you know that the Trump's thugs, his secret police, I should say, his secret thuggish army, is still terrorizing people in Minnesota. So she did the right thing and she stayed in Minnesota. You know, if she came down here to Texas while they're freezing in Minnesota and while they're being terrorized by the president's goons, you know, her opponent will say, you left the state while it was under duress. So she had to stay there. But she came and spoke to us by video link to the whole place. And I wasn't going to, well, you know what? That is a 16-minute video. I'll play that for you tomorrow. I play it in the morning, but you can, worst case, you can go to politicsandright.com/newsletter and see it now if you want to see it. But I'm going to play it for the audience tomorrow morning at KPFT, and tomorrow afternoon I'll play it here. But she gave a wonderful 16, 17-minute speech that should be empowering. But the main thing that we have to first discuss is Trump and his goons are paper tigers. Remember that. Remember, Trump was going to take Greenland and he was all big and bad. And as soon as the European Union got a piece of spine and said, you do that, not only are we going to impose tariffs on you, but we're going to start selling your bonds. And when they started selling their bonds, the stock market started to crash. And Donald Trump put his tail between his legs and said, okay, we have a deal. There was no damn deal. He is a pompous buffoon that we need to realize is a pompous buffoon and treat him and his army as such. They have no spine. But we believe that simply acquiescing to his boisterous buffoonery is what we do. We stop that, folks. We front them head on. We front them head on. And guess what's the most important thing about all of this? The people are with us. Not only Democrats are with us, not only Independents are with us. Not only anarchists are with us, everybody is with us. There is a very important thing that happened over this weekend why I am so happy. We had a race, a state senate race in the reddest county in this country. The reddest county in this country. His name is Taylor Mehmet, who ran. I don't even care to name the woman he ran against because she tried to stop books in schools and she tried to turn schools into into some sort of religious. You know what I'm talking about. But he came out, a union guy, Taylor Mehmet, a union guy, comes out. What does he do? He first ran in the primary, I mean, not in the special election, and there was a three-way election, and he came out in there and he ran again. And let me tell you, between the time that he ran first and now, much has changed. America saw the thuggishness of their president even more so as he put his goons on the street, as he went ahead and terrorized Minnesota, as he killed Rene Good, as he killed Alex Petrie. Okay? As he killed them, America saw its future. And it said, that's not us. Woke up a lot of MAGA. Woke up a lot of MAGA who have morals and said, that's not us. And you know how they showed it, people? You know how they showed it? They showed it by the reddest district that Trump won by 17 points. Remet won it by 14, a 31-point transition. I want you to listen to this, and then we'll take it on the other side.
Political upset in Texas over the weekend after a Democrat won in a district that President Trump won easily in 2024. Union leader and veteran Taylor Remet flipped the district in the Fort Worth area, winning a special runoff election for state senate by more than 14 points. President Trump tried to distance himself from the loss despite having endorsed Republican candidate Lee Wambsgans just a day before. Joining us, Texas State Senator-elect Taylor Remet. Thank you for joining us, sir.
Thank you so much for having me.
So what do you attribute this win to? What was the message that you believe worked?
Message, it's clear. Working folks out here are struggling. We need to listen to the voters and constituents, and we need to talk with them, not at them. A lot of hard work, community built. That's the winning message here. We need to lower costs. We need to fight for the working folks that are struggling with 2 or 3 jobs. That's what this is really all about.
Did you find it hard to overcome being a Democrat in this district?
I think when someone shows up and is ready to work really hard and make sure that we focus on unity, this is Texas. We look out for our neighbors, no matter what political ideology you fall under, Republican, Democrat. This is about people over the party.
Lots of Democrats have been trying to win in Texas for a while and haven't had a lot of success. And, there was concern that that success was going to be even harder to come by after Donald Trump won so many Latino voters in 2024. Do you have a sense that the Latino support in Texas is withering for Trump? And if so, if immigration is part of that, what's your sense of that?
My sense is just regarding the Senate district I'm in. I can't speak for all of Texas. I know we started with the Latino community because the North Side community here in Tarrant County is overlooked and underserved. So that's where I started a lot of this work when this campaign kicked off.
And what did you tell them?
Well, it's not what I told them. It's listening. I wanted to listen to the community and find the issues that they've been struggling with the most. A lot of it goes to our public education system here in Texas And again, just showing up is the first step in representation. I need to listen and take those concerns with me to the Senate.
I guess what I'm trying to get at with you is just specifically what you think worked, because Democrats right now are trying to find a unifying message across the party and for races all around the country. And they're looking to you and they're wondering, what specifically did you do to such great effect, especially to win in a district that was plus 14, plus 17, I believe, for Donald Trump in 24. A year later, you're winning it by 9. How?
I got to say, it's a great question. The answer's simple. Stay away from the culture wars and the hyper-partisanship. Just focus on what's going to help the working Texans' bottom line. That's what worked here. I can't say what'll work elsewhere. We have our own identity here. As a Democrat myself, I'm for the people before I serve any party. And I know that I had to work really hard to earn the trust of this entire community. And I'm going to fight and work hard for them every single day.
When they're talking to you, are they talking specifically about grocery prices? Are they talking about, foreign wars? What's the main issue that you kept hearing about?
One of the things that struck me whenever I was campaigning, I had this director for a cancer center come up to me, and she was so happy that I was running and how I was running my campaign about affordability and stuff like that and lowering costs, because she has patients that are having to choose between rent, food, and cancer treatment. This is extremely alarming, and these are the things we have to laser focus on right now, because the folks that are in cancer treatment, the folks that are working 2-3 jobs just to have a decent life, they don't have the opportunity and the luxury to focus on cultural issues. They're out here trying to survive. And so someone like me, I want to make sure that I meet them where they're at, where they're struggling, and try and help them and talk through these issues and how I can serve them better.
I think that's a really interesting point and anecdote. You are also an interesting type of candidate. You are you're a union chapter president. You're young. You're 33, and you're a machinist at Lockheed Martin, and you come from 2 working class parents. Did you want to get into politics? Was this part of your path, or did you find that this was a moment that you couldn't pass up? How did you get into this role?
I remember. So my dad, he was an aircraft mechanic, and my mom worked in a beauty salon to make ends meet. Growing up in that, when I wasn't in school, I'd be at my mom's salon, and I'd see the community that was there. It was something that I realized we were missing right now in politics, and we have to meet the moment. We have to build community. We have to show up in community as true leaders and stop talking about voters and talking to them, with them. I really think this it's about politics. It's about community needing something better. So I decided to step up. I was tired of, being frustrated that workers were being ignored. Being a union leader, that's one of my major focuses, is that we need one job to support a family. I think that's great.
Why did you decide to run as a Democrat and not a Republican?
Well, I decided to run because I think that, being a Democrat, to me specifically, it means liberty, justice, and equality. Those are things to me that I hold sacred. I fought for my country. I fought for my workers and my workers union. And I'm going to fight extremely hard for the people who put their trust in me in the Senate district. And I think that those are the values that we can align with, regardless of party.
All of our country's problems, from polarization to ignorance on domestic and international issues to a complete misunderstanding of our economic and healthcare systems, are a direct result of a derelict mainstream media that too often bend over backwards to support corporate or bought politicians' wants, as opposed.
And that, what I just said, is true. But here is the deal, folks. Here's the deal. A lot of folks are starting to say, oh, the reason he won is because there's a freeze. Oh, they try to create all kinds of reasons why this union Democrat, a union working class Democrat, won the race. They try to make all kinds of excuses. Guess what? You know what I love? Math. You guys know that. I love numbers. Let the facts speak for themselves. And yesterday I'm going to play you what I spoke about. I'm going to play a clip that I did with Arnie Arneson, who is a great, great host of the the um, the Attitude in New Hampshire. She follows Texas politics as well. But what I want to show you is the breakdown of the vote. Get rid of all the lies you've heard. Tarrant, that particular district that Taylor Remit is running in is a red district, the most red district in the country. Okay? And guess what? The breakdown of the vote, we know it. Here it is. I want you guys to see that. The vast majority of the voters were Republicans, and second to Democrats and independents. And look at the vote share. The left one shows you the breakdown by party affiliation. The right side shows you the result of the election. This wasn't even close. It's not only that MAGA voted for this Democrat, independents voted for this Democrat, and of course, the Democrats voted for this Democrat. This was an all around win. And what I'm trying to tell everybody is the following. When I tell you, let's go and hold the bulls by the horn and take it, is that some people are starting to wake up. They're starting to realize that they were being led by a thug, an immoral thug. How do you continue to support that and claim some level or modicum of morality? How do you continue to elect that and claim some sort of Christianity or any religious belief? You can't. You cannot. There is nobody who is voting for Donald Trump that has any moral compass after seeing and hearing any form of news. So let's get that out of the way. You cannot support the Republican Party now if you have any modicum of morality. Period. Punto y final. So let's continue, my brothers and my sisters. Let's get busy. We got a limerick to read, but I'll do that a little bit later. But I'm thankful for my brother's limerick. Stick around for Tom Zarnick limerick, which I'll read. I want to give a quick welcome to all our folks. I can't get to all, but Stacy, welcome aboard. Marilyn Hole, Cheryl, Kathy McMore, Susan Burton, Catherine Cunningham, Bobby McMillan, Jane B. in North Carolina. Love you, Jane. Eric Lulov. How you doing, Eric? Great to see you here, my brother. Dr. Eric is what I like to call him. Great doctor out there doing good work on helping people around. Bobby K. Bruce, my brother from another mother. How you doing, Bruce? Here in Kingwood, Texas. Joe Catawin, welcome aboard. FMK, Cheryl Nurse, P. Warren. Love you all. Steve Quick, Graham Moses, Michelle Honorato, B. Warren, Eric Caddy, Port Sitter, Kat, JN, Deborah, Jacque, Suzanne Jagoda. How you doing, Suzanne? Michael Fisher, Kevin Downey, Joni, para ver, Susan, Joe, Laura, Cheryl Elkins, my sister from Massachusetts, great activist out there. Para ver, King Mass, Rose, William Knight. If I forget you or can't get to all of you, and of course, we got Michael Rutnan from Brooklyn, New York, one of our leaders in the chat out here. Eric Hayes, Paul Fleming, my brother from Powder Springs, Georgia. How you doing? Let's see who else is in here. Anyway, thank you all for being here. Thomas Zarnick, our poet laureate. Remember that? Thomas Zarnick is our poet laureate. And my brother Patrick Magner here in Houston, Texas. Harry Denson from Missouri City, Texas. Man, I love you all and thank you all for being here. May Wood from Long Beach, California. Thank you for being here, all of you guys. Thank you for being here. Anyway, so yesterday, after I got back from we had a great time at the Democratic function, and I got a call while I was driving to the Democratic function that says, Egberto, you should be here. Well, I can't be in two places at one time, but our beautiful Cindy Hendrickson was out there at our congressman, Dan Patrick. she was at his town hall. And if you think, when I tell you guys this is our races to win, Dan didn't have it in Kingwood this time. He didn't have his town hall in Kingwood this time. He took his town hall to a place he thought was safer. So he had it in Spring in Montgomery County. And he thought it was safe there. Well, it wasn't. And it wasn't because people are waking up to the evil among us. The party that is doing, well, Donald Trump doing evil, and the party that is acquiescing to Trump and his billionaires that are inflicting evil on us all. So I want you to listen to what our good friend Cindy Hendrickson had to say about it. I have some videos that I need to process of some of the events, but I'll do that later. I want you guys to see it. Vicky, I see Vicky Ellison feedback is in the chat. Vicky is one of our stalwart, indivisible Kingwood leaders, and she was out there as well. Check it out.
Welcome to Politics Done Right. I'm Egberto Willis, and let me formulate this here. Cindy Hendrickson, who is the leader of the Indivisible Kingwood group, called me up yesterday and said, "Hey, you need to be here," but I was going elsewhere. I had to go to the Democratic JJR dinner to meet Klobuchar, who turned out couldn't make it.
Oh no.
Well, but we got some great people out there that we still got to talk to. So I tell Cindy, "Hey, please get a lot of video and all that good stuff." She just brought over, what is this, gigabytes of data. And she said, "I got to come and put it on your computer." So I'm processing in that. But in the process, she started to tell me about what occurred at the Crenshaw Town Hall in Spring, which he believes should have been more friendly to him. Tell us what happened. First of all, what did you do to go out there?
What do you mean, what did I do?
You know, what made you go out there? That's not your part of town. Your part of town is Kingwood. It's not my part of town,
but Kingwood Indivisible, we go wherever our congressman goes. So, he didn't like the reception we gave him when he tried the town hall here in Kingwood. So I guess he thought he'd go to Montgomery County in Spring, where he might have a friendlier audience. So we went out there. I put an event up on Mobilize, and we had 50 signups. I don't know how many people were in the room, maybe about 100, but I would say 2/3 of those people were very angry. I thought it would just be us, but it was the whole room. The whole room.
I want to stop you there because this is what I want to say. Cindy used to, when we go out, she's running this stuff out there. And when she goes out there and I go out there to film them, a lot of times she would say things like, "I hope this is going to work. I hope this is going to work." And I always tell her, I don't want to hear the word hope, because what they are doing, what y'all are doing, making a difference. And this morning when she came over to the house, I had an article ready for her. She had already known about it, but an article ready to read. Mehmet, in a very red district that Trump won in Tarrant County by 17 points here in Texas, won the state Senate race, something that hasn't happened in over 36 years. And what I try to tell Cindy is the work that you guys are doing and all the others are doing is what's getting that done. People are having permission to vote differently than they thought they should vote. And that's what it does. But anyway, we're talking about your Crenshaw visit. Tell me more.
Well, we came in, took our seats in the front, and I wore my body cam that I wear to protest because I wanted to capture whatever was going to happen for Egberto, since he couldn't be there. So I was his cameraman. The room, I said, had maybe 100 people in it, which isn't all that many. I'd say 2/3 of them, over a few moments time of Crenshaw speaking, we realized were not happy with him. So that was great. We came prepared with our red and green cards. He finally came in, took the podium, started talking about his flood remediation success in Congress, getting money for that, which is great, but that's all he ever talks about. So people started asking questions about ICE, DHS, immigration, boots on the ground with guns and masks, and he couldn't handle it. Red cards were going up, and He got a bit nervous. We also brought a few posters with us that were 8.5 by 11. So when he started talking about how much he supports DHS and ICE and he thinks it's a good thing, we threw those up. They're not very friendly. He looked pretty shocked. His hands were shaking. He would not answer questions directly. An immigration attorney stood up. She wanted to explain to him about people here under asylum are covered by the Constitution and cannot be picked up. And he wanted to argue with her. She was enraged. She was a Republican. She said, I have voted for you in the past. I will never vote for you again, and stormed out. He said, well, you're being rude. You need to leave. It was just unreal. He mocked us. Of course, he mocked us for wearing masks, but we were wearing them for health issues. We don't want to get the flu. And he was trying to equate that with ICE wearing masks. It's like, dude, really, it's not the same thing.
I want to interrupt you there because they did the right thing, because we know a lot of MAGA, whichever MAGA, even though against MAGA is dwindling these days, they don't take vaccines.
No, they don't.
So they did the prudent thing in wearing a mask out there.
Right. You just don't know. But he thought he was going to have a lot of support, I suppose. I think he was a bit shocked. And so he left 20 minutes early. He was supposed to be there till 5, but the heat was on. I mean, you'll see the videos once Egberto process is done, but the crowd was not happy.
Well, there's a story that you told me that I think everybody here needs to hear, and that is the First Amendment story that you told me about the cops, the signs, and what they deemed that. That's, I think, is a very important story.
Yeah, I'm very proud of my group. Everybody is just amazing. We didn't just have people on the inside of the town hall. We had a group of folks that don't belong to District 2, but they're in our Indivisible group. They chose to protest up on the street, the entrance into the park where this facility is located. They had signs of fascism out. They had protest signs. They had a flag. The Montgomery County Sheriff or constable came up and told them they had to move. And they were on an easement, a public easement. So my people were great. They said, are you citing us? And he said, no. And then he said, your signs are offensive. And they said, well, that's a matter of opinion, and it's our First Amendment right to protest. And we are on a public easement, and we are not moving.
I am going to flash one of the signs that you guys were using. That it is you. If you can get it on there, maybe we can see it. But I don't want to put it on too long because who knows what the AI would do when they see the sign. I thought it was like a great sign that showed what's happening. There you go. I'll put it closer. The camera is right there.
Where are we?
There you go. That I thought says it all, and that should make Crenshaw cringe.
He cringed when I flashed this at him. So, yeah, he wasn't too pleased.
Well, you've been doing a whole lot of the signs, and I thank you for doing that. But anyway, in closing here, tell the audience why it is that not only folks like you, because you weren't an activist in the beginning. You were you were forced into activism. Why we all need to be forced into activism?
Well, we can't stay on the couch. Look what's happening. And what I see is that incrementally we're getting more people out. More people are speaking out, which is important. We can't just hide in the house. When we started, we had a handful of people. Now we have a pretty smooth group. And in fact, Crenshaw made fun of us. He says, you guys think you're organized. But the way we work, we're pretty fluid. We can throw down a protest in a matter of minutes. We drive around with stuff in our cars. We're always ready to go. And we are ready to bring people with us. And I have folks emailing me through our website saying, how do I get involved? Okay, this is what I want. I want everyone out there. Crenshaw thought we were all liberals in the group. I told him, I said, no, we're not all Democrats. We're not all liberals. That's what you don't understand. You do not know your audience. Your audience are Americans that want to retain the Constitution and our freedoms that are afforded under that document.
I mean, I think that's a perfect closure. And folks, that's why you have to get activated.
You do.
Cindy Hendrickson, leader of Indivisible Kingwood. Keep up the great work.
Thank you.
This is how we win.
Right?
This is how we win.
And yes, that is how we win. All right. Before I go to yesterday morning, I got a call from uh, Arnie Arneson about Texas. She's in New Hampshire. She has a radio program in New Hampshire that's syndicated all around the country, but it's in New Hampshire. She called me excited in the morning. I'll tell you about that in a little bit. But beforehand, I must go to our limerick by our poet laureate, Thomas Zarnik. Here we go. Limerick, he said it's a new extended limerick poem. I like when he does those extended limerick poems. Here it goes. In in this the meantime, with too much screen time, SCOTUS gave the president total immunity, so Trump and company can act and attack with complete impunity and a high capacity for evil, creating chaos and upheaval against we the people to take away our rights to peace and prosperity. ICE is not nice. When not once but twice, men in masks are willing to make a sport of killing innocent Minnesotans. Nothing could be sadder than to say that no lives matter. In this, the meantime, when there's too much scream time, one and all we need to heed the call for Minneapolis and St. Paul, for unity to be a community with tenacity against hate and cruelty and mendacity. For justice is just us. Who is who in the meantime keep doing what we could, less than we should. And while not perfect, we must be pretty good. Damn, every time you get better, Zarnik, and I hope everybody sees the spelling of that last line. We must be pretty good. That's the name of two of our martyrs in this fight against the terrorism inflicted by Donald Trump. Alex Pretty and Rene Good. That was a hell of a limerick, my brother Zarnik. All right, let's go now to, like I said, yesterday I got a call first thing in the morning. Egberto, aren't you happy? Egberto, aren't you happy? Okay. I'm talking about the Senate, the state Senate race. Oh, okay. Okay, Arnie, wait a bit. Let's wait a little bit to make sure that the Republicans don't do what they do best, and that is to lie about what actually happened. Okay, let's wait a bit. Then I called back. We continued speaking. I said, let's talk about it on a Zoom, and I want you guys to hear it because she had some very important things to say, and I think you deserve to hear it all. Check this out with the one and only Arnie Arneson, a host of the Attitude syndicated program out of New Hampshire. Welcome to another edition of Politics Done Right. I'm honored today to have the host of The Attitude, the one and only Arnie Arneson out of New Hampshire. You know, she is also a former politician who ran for governor. Look, she's a staple in progressive media, and I'm just happy that on a Sunday, she's here to discuss with us the monumental change that is starting to happen right here in Texas. Arnie Arneson, how you doing today, my friend?
Oh, God, I woke up people to tell them what happened in Texas at 7:00 in the morning. I was so let's remember, Egberto, I have been covering Texas since Rick Perry ran for president and he was under indictment. And because I cover presidential politics, both nationally as well as from my state, because we do the first in the nation primary, I decided I needed to reach out to Texas, and we started a segment called Indictment Watch. I swear to God. And I have never let go. I've been doing it every week since then. For how many years?
Now you are in New Hampshire covering Texas. Texas, I mean, I think we have to feel honored that this young lady is actually following. And I remember you used to have Brad on every
Every
Friday.
single week, every Friday, and now
Yes.
we have a variety of voices, including the publisher. It's been so exciting, but in a lot of ways, you've taught me a lot. Okay, because so much as Texas goes, so goes the nation. And now I have a national show, and so I'm heard in New York, I'm heard in Seattle, and I'm teaching them about the importance of Texas. So it's not just that I follow you; I'm actually elevating why people need to focus on what's happening in Texas. So the story of this weekend is, I wrote this on my Facebook page. Ready? How
Yes.
do you spell earthquake? Fort Worth is in Tarrant County, the biggest, reddest county in the United States. And a Democrat just beat a Republican by what appears to be a whopping 14 points.
14
it is
points.
an earthquake. It's an earthquake. And again, what is so important here is that, so I heard some commentators say, oh, but it was a Saturday election. Can you refresh everyone's recollection? This was not just a Saturday election.
No, it was
you
not.
have early voting. Tell people when you could have started voting for what happened on Saturday.
Look, let me tell you, with all the voter suppression that we have in Texas, where people are in, first of all, you cannot register online. You have to register 30 days before an election. The Republican Party is great at ensuring their people are registered. The Democratic Party, not so good. So therefore, for that win that Arnie just told you about to occur, many things had to fall into place. But let me answer her question directly first. In Texas, you have early voting. You have a lot of time to vote. I mean, it's about being able to vote, but you have a lot of time to vote. And what Republicans normally do is Republicans are normally same day voters. So there's no excuse at all, right?
Mm-hmm.
We had early voting. We had same day voting. And I haven't looked at the record to see what the disbursement was. But when you have a 14-point win in a Republican district, that means you had a lot of Republicans voting for a Democrat. In other words, it's not just that they're apathetic. It's that they want something done. And that is a monumental shift in Texas.
And I wanted to remind everyone, and you've heard it, Donald Trump won that district by 17 points.
Yes.
That means it was a 30-point swing. Everyone, a 30-point swing. That's unheard of. That's
Yes.
unheard of in this very red county where a Democrat hadn't won in over, 40 years?
36
practically?
years.
36 years. So this, but I also want to remind everyone who the Democrat beat. First of all, let's look at the Democrat. The Democrat was a union leader. The Democrat was a veteran. I mean,
Yes.
be still my heart. This is
Yes.
like the absolute perfect individual I would
Yes.
love to see run everywhere in America. Okay. Because I am a union baby, but better than that, who did he beat? And I want to just read to you from the Texas Tribune, because I think this is really important, because what he did was he beat a conservative activist whose advocacy in recent years had helped make Tarrant County basically a testing ground for socially conservative policies in Tarrant County. Let me continue. Long active in GOP circles, she rose to prominence in 2022 when she helped the GOP fill North Texas school boards with candidates who held Christian conservative views. The movement's success resulted in an explosion across the U.S. of book bans, rewriting of curriculum, and basically, separating church and state disappeared. So it's not just his win. It's who he beat. Oh,
Yes.
Alberto, I used to give speeches for, Americans United for the separation of church and state. What you don't know is I was going to be a Methodist minister. All right. And I ended up
I didn't know that.
I know. I ended up not picking up a pew, but instead I changed my pulpit to what? To people. To politics, to policy. So, and I understand the separation. And you know why the separation is so important? This is a great statistic for your audience to hold on to. America has more places of worship per person than any country in the world.
Amazing, isn't it?
It's because we celebrate that separation. We invite you here from all over the world to come into this melting pot, but allow you to find your faith or not have a faith, allow you to find your future, whatever it is. That has been the history of America. And what has Trump been destroying? What have the conservatives been destroying? So who he beat is as powerful as the fact that he won.
But I want to add to that because, for those people who think this is a one-off, just like she changed school boards to make them more conservative, we have actually started the reversal. The Cy-Fair district over here, they had an election where the governor got involved, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And we still beat them with New Progressives on this board to take control of that school board. And it's a big school district. Yeah. So for those who think this is a one-off, the one person who knows it's not a one-off is Abbott. Abbott is throwing over $14 million in Harris County, for which yesterday we were talking about that. And the person was a bit concerned. I was at the Johnson dinner gala last night as a fundraiser for the Democratic Party in Harris County. I was there as a press. And what was interesting is this person seemed a bit concerned about the money that he's putting in. And I said, I want him to dump all that money in Harris County. Please put it in Harris County, because Harris County is not rural America. They're not easily fooled like rural America. And if you're putting that money in Harris County, that means you have less money to lie to rural America. And then I spoke directly to the entire Texas chairperson. And I said, I have a report that I'm going to send to you, because right now, I understand many folks are saying, let's just activate the base. But we don't want a base win. We want to go into every single corner of Texas and do something about it. And he says, send me the paper. Now, whether he does something about it or not, I don't care, because let me tell you what we are going to do. Just before I got on with you, I had Cindy Hendrickson next to me, who was at a Dan Crenshaw town hall. And at that Dan Crenshaw town hall, which was in a conservative area, there was about 100 people. And she said about 65 to 70% of them turned out to be against what he was doing. But more than that, there was an attorney, a Republican attorney, who tried to school Crenshaw on exactly how asylum seekers are supposed to be treated in the United States. He made fun of her. She left there irate and said, I voted for you. I voted Republican. I'll never do it again.
Look, the harm is happening everywhere. We just did an interview last week about a woman from Florida who started Latinos for Trump.
Oh,
she is horrified by what she sees, because she basically said Stephen Miller is going to kill this Republican Party.
Yes.
So she literally identified Stephen Miller, which I think is so interesting here. But more importantly, she's frightened for her son. Her last name is Garcia. Okay. Mm-hmm. She's frightened for her son because he may be picked up because he looks Hispanic. And I went, excuse me, you are Hispanic. I mean, you don't look, and what I think is so interesting is we're suddenly seeing, the Hispanic population has always believed in three things: faith, family, and work. Okay?
Absolutely.
Okay. And on every level, guess what, Egberto? He's undermining all those things.
Yes.
All those things. So I just want people to understand that this is not about Republicans or Democrats. It is really much bigger than that, because you're absolutely right. I'm not asking you to vote for a Democrat. What I'm asking you to vote for is a return to something that you recognize as democracy. Return to something that you realize as an opportunity for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The opportunity not to be afraid in your schools, not to be afraid in your streets, not to have an economy that's being crashed all over the place. I mentioned to you before, the level of international tourism that is going to disappear overnight is unbelievable. And for a lot of states, tourism is the number one industry. In my state of New Hampshire, numero uno. Okay. Mm-hmm. Tourism, number one. Guess what? We've already seen a 30% decline. And I'm just telling you, that's just one aspect of what he is doing to harm us. And I think in the end, when you start looking at your wallet, when you start looking at your school, when you start looking at your children and your community and realizing how destructive it is not going to be a choice between a Republican and a Democrat. It's going to be both a rejection of what he does and an opportunity for people who I'm hoping are good candidates that not only speak about what's wrong, but talk about a vibrant future. We need something more positive.
I could end it in a better spot with that statement. That is the marching orders, folks, and Arnie Arneson has just given it to you. Thank you so kindly, Arnie, for spending this impromptu, quick Sunday interview set up. It's my honor to have had you on Politics Done Right.
I'm joyous. Thank you, Texas.
Absolutely. So, okay, Brother Radnin brought us some shorts, and since he worked so hard to get us some very good shorts, I want to stick one in here. Brother Radnin, I can only get one in, but you know what? You have some great ones here. I want to play this one on medical stops because this is when we talk about the Trump administration being evil, that's what we're talking about.
I need people to understand actually how insane this is. ICE has stopped paying doctors for detainee medical care. Not delayed, not reduced, stopped. Since October. They canceled the system that paid hospitals, pharmacies, and specialists and replaced it with nothing. ICE literally told providers to hold all claims until at least April. So what happens in the meantime? No dialysis, no chemotherapy, no prenatal care, no cancer treatment, no medication. Not because doctors don't want to help, but because ICE won't pay. This is illegal. Federal law literally requires ICE to provide medical care. ICE knows this. They called it an absolute emergency internally. They warned it could cause loss of life. Then, they did nothing. Meanwhile, the detained population has nearly doubled, over 73,000 people locked up, and the money paid for medical care dropped by hundreds of millions of dollars. That gap? That's untreated illness. That's people in pain. That's people dying quietly behind fences. If this were happening in any other country, the US would call it a human rights crisis. But because it's immigrants, because it's ICE, they don't care. This is neglect by design, and people are paying for it with their lives. I need people.
I love what like. Remember, folks, this is an interactive show. I can't get to everything that everybody sends me all of the times, but every now and then I stumble on something that I say, yeah, that fits in with what we're doing here. And I want to thank you. But Rudnin always go out there and does a lot of work, bring us a lot of stuff. So does my brother here out of Powder Springs, Georgia. Hey, forgive me, it's not Paul Fleming. I brings a whole lot of stuff here. That's what it's all about. Aggregating stuff, all of us are all over the place finding stuff, and it's like, oh, maybe you'd like to make this broader, etc. So all of you that have always sent me stuff, whether email, whether directly here in the chat or whatever, thank you. I can't get to all of them, as you all well know, because we also have a program to give, but I love you all for doing that and keeping me up to speed. I look at stuff, I'm overwhelmed a lot with the amount of information that's coming, but we get it done. Look, we are near the end of the program, and I'd like to give an opportunity for anybody who wants to call in 281-823-7747. One more time, 281-823-7747. Tomorrow, I have some other videos that we wanted to show today, but we just couldn't fit that into 1 hour. Let me just do it one more time. Una vez más, el número es 281-823-7747. Si quieres llamarme y hablarme en español, ya que tenemos mucho problema con lo que está pasando con la migra y todo, me pueden llamar también. If you need to give me a call, 281-823-7747. Anybody, give me a call. We got about 4 minutes or so that we can speak to you. Anyway, so I want to leave on a positive note to let you guys know this, folks. The change that we've been talking about for a while now, it's coming, and this round is actually coming quicker. Imagine it's starting to happen within a year of this evil president's reign. Within a year. That didn't happen the first time he came around. But I guess now people are starting to realize that he is a clear and present danger to the country. He has destroyed this country, and putting it back together is going to be a whole lot of work. But it's if you love this country, it's a work. It's the work that we are all committed to do. All right. So please, please, no despair, and remember what I said. We don't talk about hope. We talk about what we are going to do. We don't let anybody question whether there's going to be a 2026 election, because we will make sure there's a 2026 election. And anybody who tries to stop a 2026 election, we will amass ourselves in the hundreds of thousands in that county where they attempt to do us wrong. We will have a 2026 election. We will not depend on hope. We will depend on what we will do. We the people. You take a look at all those activists that are roaming here in Kingwood, in Houston, in San Antonio, in Charlottesville, everywhere. That's what it's all about. Anyway, folks, please remember what we do here. We make sure and amplify the message. We make sure and put it out there over and over again. If for those of you who've never seen our stuff, we have a newsletter that goes out several times a day, keeping people informed, giving the right narrative to many of the things that you see on TV that many a times does not carry the appropriate narrative. Story's there, but the narrative is wrong. We make sure to always give that progressive slant that supports the people. We, the people. Una vez más lo repito, we, the people. So if you believe in what we're doing, if you believe that we need to continue doing what we're doing, I ask you so kindly to please support the program however you can. Right now, we're asking folks to support the program by becoming paid subscribers. It's a coffee, and I'm pretty sure many of you maybe are giving coffees to others. We're asking you to add us to the repertoire, make us a part of your list of rags that you're supporting to keep this message going. We work hard to make sure it's out there. So I ask kindly, una vez más, lo voy a repetir, please, give us your support by going to politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. I'm putting it in the chat right now. politicsdoneright.com/newsletter to become paid subscribers of our newsletter. You can also, if you're already on Substack, just click that subscribe button and choose to be a paid subscriber. Anyway, folks, look, we are winning this thing. And as you can see, it wasn't wishful thinking. When we spoke months ago, when many of you were completely in despair, when many of you said, oh my God, that's going to be the longest 4 years. And I said, baby, we are going to take this thing back and we are going to win this thing. And guess what? We've started winning this thing, not just here in Texas, but all over the country because all of you are engaged. Got to get out of here. Love you all. You can email me directly, info@politicsdoneright.com, info@politicsdoneright.com. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right. And you guys know how I end this baby. Maybe if I can get my clicks right, I can get out of here. You guys know how I end my baby? I am what? Out!
Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden to corporations, we only owe allegiance to you. Remember, you can also send me a tweet at EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is Politics Done Right.